Hey guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Leo for December 2021. Keep in mind it's general, so take what you feel resonates for you, disregard the rest, my friends. Go about your day, but know that no matter what messages do come through, it's still up to you and your active free will, the choices you make, the steps you take, and how you get your fulfillment in this world. To me, that's personal freedom. It's personal choices, really. It boils down to the choices we make and the steps we take in our world. So for all my subscribers as well, I just want to give you guys a big shout out. Happy, I almost want to say Christmas. It is Christmas. They're coming up to Christmas. Happy solstice. Happy whatever it is that you celebrate. And if it's nothing more, happy December, my friends. So we have just kind of entered into the coming back of the light, and I think that that's a really wonderful time to be in. So I'm going to take a moment just to call in Archangel Michael, I'll call in Archangel Gabriel, my team of light, and any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good to join us. I'm going to ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, to use me as the clearest channel possible, and delivering messages that are for the farthest reaching of all of us watching today. But again, no second-rate messages today. If you're new to my channel as well, guys, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like it resonates in the end and you'd like to see more, please hit subscribe. I'd love to have you along this ride with me. I'm going to start off today with some spiritual advice from the Shaman's Oracle. So this is the Shaman's Oracle. We're going to get some tarot wisdom from the Wildwood Tarot and then some parting messages with the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. So stick around to the end, my friends. Let's see what we have here for Leo, please. What messages and spiritual advice would you have for December 2021? They're reminding me, so we have one, they're saying it 3. So they're reminding me that time is fluid. So the situation that we're picking up on may be something from the past, something from the present, or something that hasn't quite happened yet, okay? So take it how it resonates, and if it's not for you, disregard it, seriously. So at the bottom of here, we have the Ancestor of Boundaries, and I think that this is really important in terms of spiritual and energetic boundaries, especially things like watching tarot. When we're watching this, we want to have boundaries up because we can't allow everything to try and fit it into our situations. There's the spirit of challenge was underneath this as well. But I think for some of you, even setting boundaries may challenge you. We got a few cards that popped out. There was 3 more that came out, and then another set of 2. This Dancer of Friendship and the Ancestor of Guidance have been coming out in like the last 4 of them, especially the Friendship. I think friendships are really, really important right now. The Shaman of Courage was the first card that came out. I love this, and I'm going to read what the book has to say about it, but let's get what spiritual guidance is out first here. The Dancer of Joy, and this is pure, unbridled joy. And I heard first up, have the courage to step up and to rise up into a world that you are, like I heard this ball of flame, right? Dance. Enjoy your world. Enjoy the things that make this life feel worthy, or make you Hunter of Dreams is here. I heard some of you, this is question your reality, but this is also wanting to make things better, wanting to make the world a better place to live in. You have the Hunter of Abundance here as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. I think that this Dancer of Joy coming with the Hunter of Abundance as well is like, it's time. For some of you, what I heard is you're at your peak, right? For some of you, this could be career. I think a lot of what I see and what I'm feeling and what I'm picking up on here, especially with this Ancestor of Boundaries, showing its face up with this Shaman of Courage, it's like, you know what? It's definitely time to take a rise up. I feel like whatever you're doing, career path comes up to mind, but whatever you're doing, it's really sparking joy in you and in other people. So this whole Shaman of Courage, let's figure out what it has to say. Shaman of Courage. Some of the stars. And I don't often see the Shaman of Courage come up, so it's wonderful as well to see something a little bit different. But I feel like something that's like pushing us and nudging us to push past our comfort zones a little bit. So if I say something that triggers you, how can you use this in your day-to-day world? You know, how did it make you feel? What was it attached to? And how can you use this information to make your days a little bit better? And what I heard as well, some things just maybe need to heal. So there's some triggers coming up because there's something there that needs to be healed. So it says, I am the Shaman of Courage. Whenever and wherever you need me, I will be there to help you discover the resources that lie within you, resources you may not know you possess. I am there to support you in times of need, when challenges become overwhelming, when strength is required to make even an inch of progress along the way. I journey into fear and at its heart find courage to overwhelm it. This courage I impart to you and will guide and protect you if ever you are in danger. I love this part that says, I journey into fear and at its heart find courage to overwhelm it. That is really that thing, right? When we push past our comfort zones, when we push past our fears of greatness, or for some of us, I heard interactions, okay? When we push past that, this is wonderful, and don't underestimate yourself, because any act or feat of courage, great or small, is really, really important if it's helping you progress and take the next steps. So that is just one of my favorite things, that this is getting to the heart of that fear and overwhelming it, going, you know what? You big, bad, scary scariness, I'm not afraid of you. And what happens when fear and you face its heart and you're not afraid? It has no power anymore. And that's bravery, my friends. What I just saw pictured in my head is like a little boy throwing pebbles up against like glass with like a whale behind it, okay? So like kind of like it would be if you were at marine land or some aquatic place, and, you know, kid throwing it there, just trying to get this thing's attention. So for some of you that may resonate. But it says, courage is one of the most fundamental resources of life, and without it we come to a standstill, physically and mentally. Often it takes great fortitude for us to travel towards our goal, or inevitably we will encounter hardships along the way. Yet we can all summon up from deep inside ourselves the courage we need, however much we may doubt it. While this is most true of those who find themselves in extremes of stress, conflict, or danger, it is also true of those who face a purely inward challenge. The Shaman of Courage knows where we can find the inner resources we never knew we had. For some of you, what I'm hearing right away doing this was exercise and movement of our bodies. Some of you, I heard may even be into bodybuilding. I think it's really important, actually, exercise and moving our body. These are one of the fundamental things that are going to help keep us safe, keep our body safe. And I mean, it's not always going to be safe for some of you guys, right? And some of us to exercise. It may actually be more detrimental. But depending on what you do, you know, you can always, if your mobility isn't the best, there is chair workouts. You know, there are lots of different things that you can do to even just move and get the blood pumping and get the life flowing in your body. So this ancestor of guidance I'm being shown with this dancer of friendship, for some of you, some of the things is that, you know, you may have, what I heard is, you may have had someone in your world who you've given openly and freely to, and there hasn't been a whole lot of boundaries. And then there's spots where you can see, well, you know what, it's time for me to move on. And I'm going to need to use some of these resources for myself. And your friend gets a little upset because what's going to happen to them? And I feel like this is just really where your courage needs to get stepped up. And to step up to this challenge and to rise above it. They keep wanting to show me the Shaman of Loss, who was under the spirit of challenge at the bottom, under the Ancestors of Boundaries. And I feel like because for some of us, this is a really new point, learning how to set healthy boundaries for ourselves. And if it's within friendships, going, you know, I understand that your friends may be going through hardships or something like that, but it doesn't need to be all consuming of you. And what I heard is, especially when we're going through adult friendships, you know, there is definitely those younger more time, what I heard, okay, is just some more time consuming friendships where this is your world, right? Especially in our younger years, but as we start to develop families and we have other responsibilities, a lot of, I heard, pressures, a lot of our focus is other places. So get together with your friends, have some light-hearted conversations, and focus on your dreams and joy. And if there is someone in your midst who kind of puts down your dreams or tries to keep you small, to keep you all to themselves, have the courage and bravery to overcome that, okay? And there may be something here as well for some of you with that Shaman of Courage is like, do you maybe a fear of losing this friend because you've chosen this path? And I what I heard is implore you to see beyond that, to see through to the vision that you've been working on along this way. So I'm just going to pause you. I got kids running downstairs. They're not ready for bed. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, guys. So I'm going to bring in the Wildwood Tarot here for you guys, one of my favorite decks I have, for some tarot wisdom, please, for December 2021, please. Tarot wisdom for December 2021. Spirit, what messages would you have anyone who's watching know for Leo? Just a minute, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hopefully there's no more interruptions. So, right away, there we go. We have the Seven of Arrows with insecurities in the reverse. And I think that's a good thing with this deck because we're removing those. Those insecurities that we have, they may have held us back in the past, but now is not the time for that. You have the King of Arrows in the reverse as well. I'm going to flip that up. The Five of Bows and the empowerment in the reverse is, I'm going to just smooth the deck a little bit, but let's see here. So there could have been a situation with these insecurities, though, this King of Arrows or this Kingfisher coming out, where, you know, this has just been doubting your own abilities as well, that even if you're working on removing those insecurities, you're still flip-flopping, I heard, mentally on the situation. So, Spirit, can you tell me about this King of Arrows? I think that this is this fear as well, this Shaman of Courage showing up. You have the Ace of Vessels here, this the Ace of Cups, right? This new life spring of water, this eternal water source as well as what I heard, and watering grounds and feeding grounds. So I think there's a lot of importance here about this is because it's not just that it's giving, it's just flowing, and it's giving unconditionally and receiving. There is a real importance in this ecosystem as well for love. And I feel like for some of us, we see these hunter of abundance, we see this hunter of dreams with the dancer of joy, you know, and it's maybe a lot of us have kept ourselves back as well, and some of this could have been self-imposed boundaries just because we don't want someone to get in. We don't want to feel too deep or let someone feel too close, because the last time something like that happened, we got hurt. And here's where we got to get right down to the heart and the nitty-gritty of that fear and overwhelm it with love and come to a point it's like, well, what's worse, going without this situation? This, I feel as well, for some of us is a lot of love for ourselves. And I think that if we are going through insecurities, if we're going through mental instabilities, one of the best things that we can do for our bodies and for ourselves is take care of it. Eat things that are good for you, drink water, get outside, take a walk, read a book, do something that is good for your soul and that takes care of yourself. I feel like as well, this is just reminding you that, you know, this is also has to do with our thoughts. So this Kingfisher that was in the reverse, this King of Swords, this is also saying, you know, if your thoughts are you're feeding this emotional water, if you're feeding it toxic thoughts, your emotional body, this is toxic, and this is destroying anyone who comes to it, yourself included. So this is, I think, really important, just to take care of yourself. And for some of you, they may be brave new stomping grounds as well, as what I heard, that this courage is stepping out of a situation that's just no longer meant for you. So let's get a little bit of more clarity, Spirit. Can you tell me more about this? Thank you. You have the Nine of Arrows and dedication in the reverse. I feel like as well, because this is something that's saying, you know what, you may have been dedicated to something for so long that at this point you just feel ingrained and entrenched, and you feel trapped and unaware of how you're going to remove yourself from a situation. Or for some of you, I heard if you're just entering back into the dating world, you may be feeling a little bit insecure because, again, it's not like you've had to look for someone in a long time. So I got the bottom was the Ace of Arrows. It could be that as well, you know, that it's the first time really putting yourself back out there. And especially if we've been through a lot of things where, you know, we've had to really find that love for ourselves and rebalance ourselves out. There's a lot of understandings here. And I do love to see that this came up in the upright, whereas the Kingfisher was in the reverse. For some of you, this could be an air sign in your world, a Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius who doesn't have everything figured out yet, and they're a little insecure about this relationship. I also heard finances. But I think that this is where we need to have these real open conversations. And what I heard is also to don't dwell. So with this 9 of Arrows, this dedication being in the reverse, I also feel like it's like, you know what? Know when to quit. Know when to see, you know what, I've poured a lot of time and effort into this and it's really not moving forward how I would like it, or it's really not stabilizing me or bringing me blessings. And just, this is where I think it's also like even mindsets. We don't have to hold on to them just because they have worked in the past if they're no longer working for us now. So you have the Seer in the reverse and the Lynx with the Page of Stones in the reverse. And the 5 of Bows coming back out with empowerment in the upright, which is nice to see. And I like to see that the 5 of Wands in this case is not about fighting. It's about empowerment. There's a lot of phallic representation and masculine energy here as well. For some of you, I feel like what I heard is toxic masculinity as well. And this could come from this Ace of Vessels. A lot of, you know, men and boys are taught that their emotions are showing weakness. And that's a narrative I think is really important to change, because if we're teaching, you know, half of the people in our world to suppress their emotions, but in relationships, when they get into, you know, romantic relationships and things like this, how are they going to actually survive and thrive in this if it's not creating vulnerable space and space to feel open and be vulnerable in safe places? So I think that for some of you guys, this could be, again, like this boundaries you've had for yourself. This is where pushing past that kind of threshold and saying, you know what, it's time to open up the floodgates. There's a lot I've been repressing, and really feel the emotion so that you can move on from this. And if this 5 of Bows and this phallic representation you feel represents you right now, by all means, you know what, do what you have to do. Follow the clues you're being guided to take, because they're leading you to something wonderful here with this Dancer of Courage and or Dancer of Joy and the Shaman of Courage. That joy comes when we release our fears and we're willing to just push past them and step forward. So I have a message here from the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. As some parting messages, please. I do feel like this, whatever new understandings come through, get the pomegranate, whatever new understandings come through for you, they're really going to create a lot of active changes in your life. And again, with this Dancer of Friendship, I definitely feel like there's a huge emphasis on belonging, and this could be friendship, this could be a lot of different things, but there's a lot of emphasis on, you know, creating places where we can be with like-minded individuals, where we feel really loved, where we feel really empowered, and we feel heard. And for some of you, what I heard is this may even be taking form in like a support group. So let's see what pomegranate has here for some wisdom from the trees. All right. So it says, the inner journey. I am the fruit of the underworld, and I will guide you on your journey as you enter the rich realms of your unconscious. I can help you to interpret your dreams and to gain a deeper understanding of the world around you. The ancient Greeks associated pomegranate with death and rebirth, and its fruit features in several myths. One of the most notable concerns Persephone, who was lured into the underworld by Hades, who tricked her into eating pomegranate seeds. This meant she had to spend each winter with him, a time when nature went into mourning for her. Her reemergence into the world each spring allowed plants to grow again. The bark of the tree and the rind, seeds, and juice of the fruits are all used in Ayurveda, Ayurveda. I'm not exactly sure the pronunciation of that, but use your intuition and instincts to tune into the major themes of your life. Meditation will help you to still your mind so the inspiration can strike, and creative visualization will help you to plan your life's path. They're asking me to read the inverse like the reverse just in case it resonates, but to stay focused on positive and constructive thoughts. Absolutely. Do not let yourself be sidetracked or held back by fears or negative emotions. Trust that you will be well and that you're being guided in the perfect direction for you. That's the message I have, and I really do think that that's where this is important, is just to focus on the joy and to stay positive. Not so much about toxic positivity where we have to be positive all the time, because that's just not possible, but to keep our eyes on the sunny side of life and to keep our mind on the bright side here as well. So have the courage to push forward and to find new spaces of feeling empowered, to understanding your worth. And there's so much here with this brand new breath of life and this brand new flow of water. So I really implore you to take that dance and to push past your comfort zone. That's the message I have. I hope it resonates. If you want to hear more from me, you can also check me out on Instagram at grassroots_evolution_tarot. Drop a follow if you'd like to as well. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.